All right, what's going on, guys? First video in a while. I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to go about this whole thing. Balancing out putting videos on social media, doing sports prognostication, and getting my picks out for you guys. And, just balancing that out with putting content here on YouTube where I can dive into bigger concepts and, give more of myself on this platform. So, bear with me as I figure it out. I promise you guys more videos are going to be coming in the upcoming months. I am going to have a lot more content here on YouTube. But I was thinking today, just, had a random thought in my head of just who the best leader is in the NFL. Of course, we can kind of think of in the NBA, like Stephen Curry is a pretty good leader for the Golden State Warriors. He's the longest tenured player on any team in the NBA right now. But I was thinking, who's the best leader in the NFL? And then I came up with my answer, and then I thought about it, and I said, is this guy potentially the best leader in all of team sports, at least American team sports? And as you guys can see, the answer that I came up with was Jalen Hurts, and I think that he is. I think that he's up there with, if he's not the best, he's up there with the best of them when it comes to leadership. What I like about Jalen Hurts is he comes across, I don't know him personally, but he comes across as a very, intelligent young man. And more than that, he comes across as a guy who's really focused on his goal, and he's just extremely comfortable in his own skin. And it's so refreshing living in a world where people are trying to be something that they're not, or people are always trying to fit in or be a little, act the way that they think they're supposed to act, especially when you're like a young black man. As you guys know, I'm Eritrean. For those of you who didn't know, I think I've said it before on videos, but anytime you're a man of color in our society, and I try not to even get into the race thing, but anytime you're a man of color in our society, they try to spoon feed you certain concepts and ideologies, and they hope that it sticks to you. And Jalen Hurts just seems like a guy who he just stands on business. He just is who he is. He knows who he is. He comes from a family that reassures him of who he is. And I just really appreciate it. I mean, by all accounts, he is a great leader. That's what his teammates say. And the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, they stacked up the roster and they really set it up well for him. But this team wasn't going to be as good as it is now and potentially have a long window and a big run in the NFL competing for Super Bowls. Of course, they went to the Super Bowl last year. They weren't going to have that opportunity if he didn't do the things that he needed to do. And I mean, this guy, he was at Alabama, then he had to go to Oklahoma. He gets picked. Carson Wentz is ahead of him. And no matter what, he just kept his head down and did what he's supposed to do. And he just seems like a guy, like I said, who's comfortable in his own skin and who's very centered. And I just appreciate seeing someone who I feel like knows who he is. I don't know him, but the vibe that I get from Jalen Hurts, and by all accounts, is that he's the type of guy who knows who he is, and he's going to stick with that. He's not going to get caught up in the woke rabbit hole, or he's not going to get caught up in thinking that he has to be like some super liberal or he has to believe in certain ideologies. He's not the type of guy that's going to get, I mean, there's nothing wrong with Jordans. I have Jordans, everybody's indulged before, but into different things before, but he's not the type of guy that's just like smoking weed or worried about when the new Jays come out or trying to keep up with the Joneses. He doesn't have that type of energy to him, and those are the type of things that get pushed in our communities onto guys. So it's just really refreshing to see a guy who's like succeeding and doing it big and like carries himself like a man and is going super hard, but is just like this very calm and centered individual amongst all the chaos that goes in our society. So I just wanted to make a quick video about quick segment on this Jalen Hurts thing that I came up with, because it just rings very true in my opinion. I just think that he's a great leader, and when you have those type of intangibles and those type of qualities that he has, it does make for a good leader. It makes for a great leader. It makes for a guy who just comes across very confident. There's no other way I can say it. I think that if Jalen Hurts isn't the best leader in team sports, he's up there. And it's really nice to see, and I'm excited to see what the Philadelphia Eagles are going to do this season. We're taking the Jets +7 this week, but you know the Eagles have been great for the past year and a half, and I think as long as he's there, even as the roster talent depreciates, even as some of their veterans get older, because of his mindset and his willpower and how laser focused he is, I think in a couple of years when the roster isn't as good, he's going to surprise people with how good Philadelphia still is because he's going to keep them afloat. I'm not saying that he's a top 5 quarterback from a talent standpoint, but because of the way that he puts it all together, I mean he's a top 5 guy on that field when it comes to putting it all together and making the most out of the situation. So kudos to Jalen Hurts, and all I can say is I hope that we can see more of this type of stuff from other athletes in the future. And segueing into something else that I wanted to talk about real quick, the hate when it comes to Deion Sanders. I was at a game. I won't say where, but I was at a game, and I heard a girl. I overheard a girl. It was a white girl. I overheard her talking to this dude and basically saying, oh, Oregon beat Colorado. Hell yeah, of course they beat Deion. Deion sucks. Blah 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 blah. And the just overhearing her kind of took me back. And then going on social media and seeing all the people who were just going in, and who, like, there was like a lot of people who were happy when Deion got in Colorado got smacked up by Oregon. And I thought Deion's comments after the game were pretty interesting when he said, well, they were focused on beating me. They weren't even trying to beat my team. They were trying to beat me. And with Deion, Deion's a made man. Deion's a Super Bowl champion. He's a Hall of Fame football player. He played for historic franchises. He's extremely entertaining. He's a two-sport athlete. He was a great coach at the first school he went to. He turned that program all the way up and was succeeding beyond expectations at that school. Now he comes to Colorado, and they're like midway through the season, and he's already hit the over on the win total. I mean, he's doing as much as he can given what he has to work with. Colorado, or wherever he goes, is only going to improve because Deion knows what he's doing, and because over time he's going to have more access and the capability to succeed even more. He's going to have more tools at his disposal to get the job done. So no matter what anyone wants to say, Deion's a winner, and he's already won this season, and he's already a success. So he can have his chest out and he can talk all he wants to talk because he's already accomplished the first step here, and he's going to succeed at the next step and the next step as long as he keeps his foot on the gas pedal and continues doing what he's doing. And it seems like that's just what it's going to be. And the hate with Deion, though, I think, just getting back to it, I think the hate with Deion really stems from people not having confidence themselves. I'm not Deion. I'm not a super outgoing, turned up guy, but that's Deion Sanders. That's prime. I mean, he's an entertainer. He's entertaining. I'm not that kind of guy in that way. But for me, I've always felt like I don't have to get a tattoo saying I love my mom and get it blasted all over me and like make Instagram posts about me and my mom's amazing relationship, because I can just tell my mom that, and me and my mom can have our private conversations where she understands we have that relationship with each other where we really care about each other, And I've always been that type of person where it's like it's in my heart and it's in my mind, and I move with that energy. I don't have to showcase it to the rest of the world. I don't have to be the loudest person in the room. I don't have to always have my chest out, because I feel like I'm an extremely confident person, but I feel like I'm confident and comfortable. Even going back to the Jalen Hurts thing, he's a guy who's comfortable in his own skin. I feel like I'm comfortable in my own skin, and I'm just a confident individual. And Deion strikes me, a lot of people who are loud and braggadocious, I don't really believe them. I believe Deion, and Deion's proved it, and I believe him. I think that's just the way that he expresses himself, and if he chooses to express himself like that, then what is it to anybody else? I mean, he's not hurting anybody. He's only doing good for his community. But people have such an issue with him buying watches for his team or getting them shades or, you know, like encouraging them or giving them this, game and giving them a little bit of swagger and going about things the way that he wants to go about it. I mean, if you could do better, then go take the job and do better. I mean, he's been phenomenal, and I think that people who don't have confidence, once again, people who lack in confidence themselves, are rubbed off the wrong way by people who are extremely confident. And I think Deion Sanders is an extremely confident person, and I think there's a bunch of people on the internet or a bunch of people who watch these games on TV or watch these sports shows on TV who aren't very confident, and it just irks them at their core whether they realize it or not. It really bothers them that Deion's this super comfortable and confident guy, because they know deep down in their hearts, or maybe they don't realize it, but they're not that. So they don't like seeing a guy who is that and who knows that he's that. So more or less, I think that's why I just wanted to tie these two topics in with each other and talk about these two guys, because these are two guys who they showcase their confidence and they showcase how comfortable they are with themselves in different ways, but they both really are confident and comfortable individuals. And I think that it would just be better for our society if more people could look in the mirror and start to figure out what it is that would make them feel more confident and comfortable, and just really find inner peace opposed to trying to chase validation and peace from other people. So, you guys know, for the most part, I stick to sports when I talk about these videos, but sometimes sports and life intertwine. And I think when they do, you get the best conversations. You get conversations like this that go well beyond making some money giving out a sports pick. So, for those of you who are listening, I know I don't got the biggest platform, but for those of you who are listening, I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, I'm going to be making more videos in the near future. I'm going to get a lot more videos out. I have some videos that are already recorded. I just need to edit them up and post them on here. So bear with me, guys. I appreciate you guys as always. Thank you for listening. Peace.